Hello guys, it is back. What is back, you say? It has been some time, but it is back. My film listography book. If you're a new subscriber and you're not aware, I had been working my way through this amazing book. It's a film listography book, Your Life in Movie Lists, and it is full of just all different lists. You can see some of them I have filled in, some I haven't. You can look back on my channel if you're interested in any. So horror films that freak you out was one that I did. That's the one I'm going to do today. Film duos that you love. So there's all kinds. There's quite personal ones as well, like celluloid characters you wish were your friends. So people in movies. So I've got like people like Marty McFly from Back to the Future, Oda Mae Brown from Ghost. There's just all kinds of lovely little lists in this, and it's just something I really enjoy. So I've got two today. Obviously I will do in separate videos. One of them is films that make you cry. It's not difficult, guys. I am not a crier in real life at all. But when it comes to movies and TV, that's when it all comes out. I don't cry at real life stuff very much. Maybe I'm emotionally stunted, who knows. So let's do this list first. I have another one coming up for you, which obviously you won't see today, but I'll record today, which is special effects that blow my mind over the years. So let's do this list of films that made me cry first of all. So the example we have in the book is The Diving Bell and the Butterfly, which if you haven't seen is an incredible movie. Please check it out. I thoroughly recommend it. I will tell you nothing about it, but it's probably unlike anything you'll have seen before. I apologise for my sweater, as you would call it. People say to me, what's a jumper? In the UK and Ireland, we call sweaters jumpers. Don't ask me why, because I wonder, is it because sheep jump and we get wool from sheep? I've no idea. No idea. Films that make me cry. I have my 10. I also have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 special mentions, I think that is. Right, I'm not going to talk in any detail about the special mentions. I'll just fire through them. Also be known that if it has a dog in it and the dog dies, I'm going to cry. So I've cut a lot of movies out with that intention. So Toy Story 3. You're going to say Toy Story 3, Isaac? Yes, Toy Story 3, the bit where Andy gives his toys away at the end. If, the very recent one with Ryan Reynolds, I'll not spoil it, but I think as you get older, that idea of, it was discussed in Inside Out too. There's a quote in it that's quite something. It's like, as you get older, you have a little less joy or something. And in If, it's kind of like the older you are, the more you forget about the inner child, you know, that imaginary friend and the imagination you had as a kid. And it just really touched a nerve with me. So I had a cry at that as well. It's shocking. Incredible Journey. Absolutely designed. I used to work for Blockbuster for a number of years. I then went on to manage a store, and the staff used to purposely put on Incredible Journey. That bit at the end where Shadow is limping over the hill and the little boy is shouting, "No, Shadow, I thought you were too old. I thought you wouldn't make it." And I'm gone. I'm nearly gone now thinking about, no, no Lisa, no crying at Shadow. And they would do it and it was bad. So Hotel for Dogs. I went to the cinema to see this, and there's a bit where they all come on the stage limping and with like all these little resident dogs of this place that's going to be knocked down. And no, I can't bear it when anything with dogs. Coco, the animation around the old grandmother, is it Abuela? I can't. Coco is one of my favourite animations. I absolutely adore it. I think the song in it's called Remember Me. And yes, if you've seen Coco, you will know why I find it sad. The Iron Giant. Do any of you of a certain age remember The Iron Giant? That is an amazing animation. If you've never seen The Iron Giant, please check it out. I've got it there somewhere. No, I've got it somewhere, but I would be all day looking for it to try and actually show you it. Iron Giant, sad, fantastic animation. Shawshank Redemption. This is a very uplifting film for me. I love it. It's one of those ones that sent that, the bit with the poster sent that shiver through me. I'm not going to allude to what, but if you haven't seen Shawshank, get to it. The bit when Riggs is released and he just can't get on with a life on the outside. He's been in prison, institutionalized for too long. I wasn't going to talk about any of these, I'm trying to be fast, but that really upset me, what happened with Riggs. Up, there's a lot of animation in here, guys, I'm aware, but who didn't cry at the death of the wife at the beginning of Up, and that montage of their life, and that part at the end where he turns to the last page of the book and she has written something about your adventure, you know, thanks for, oh god, I don't want to cry again, thanks for the adventure or something, and it's like, now go have one for yourself kind of thing, and it's like, oh Jesus, wet. So did Lisa. Honestly, it's my emotional release is through movies and through TV, because I'm just not the kind of person in real life. I'm not a crier. I don't tend to, maybe I get upset, but I'm not a crier. So I think this is maybe my release. If you're thinking, Lisa, you are pathetic. Yes, I'm fully aware of this. Ghost. When, I want to say Patrick, but I don't think he was called Patrick. When Patrick Swayze, that's where I'm getting Patrick from, for goodness sake. Sam. When Sam dies at the start of Ghost, I know that's one of Kermit's Ghost favourites. I know he's a big fan of Demi Moore in that one. He likes a fringe and short hair on a lady, and he loves Demi Moore in that one. But when Sam dies, it's just, her acting is so good in that movie and so heartfelt, and you can really feel where she is, and she's lost her partner. It's just so sad. E.T. That's my last memorable mention, guys. E.T. When we think he's died. I remember seeing that as a child and I was traumatised, and I think my best friend Kelly still hasn't watched E.T. because she's too frightened, or maybe she saw some of it as a child and she was so upset by it she can't watch it, because she's like me, she's a big soft lump that just cries at everything. We're in touch with our emotions, that's what I'll tell myself. So let's get on to these top 10 films that make me cry, as if you hadn't heard enough already. 7 minutes of honourable mentions, I apologise. So number 10 is going to be The Boy in the Striped Pyjamas. This is one about a boy in a concentration camp that makes friends through the wire with the son of like a commandant on the other side. So we have a boy on the Jewish side from the camp making friends with one of the guys that's putting all these people through this. This has such a harrowing ending that really puts you in the place of what those people are going through, and in a way there's a sense of karma, but in another way it's not karma that you ever wanted to see happen, but you're putting a person in the shoes of the people they're doing something really horrible to. I'm not going to tell you what happens at the end of it in case you haven't seen it. I don't want to completely fill this with spoilers. In some cases I will mention some spoilers. In that case, that one's a real doozy. That was a real shocker, the end of this one, so I don't want to spoil it. But it's a very moving. Obviously, it's about a Jewish concentration camp. It's not going to be an easy watch, guys, but it is a fabulous movie. Number 9 is The Elephant Man, one of my all-time favourite movies. They are remaking that one, which I will reserve judgment, but the version with John Hurt is just incredible. I cried really hard at this, especially the beginning when he was being beaten, how he was being treated, and we follow his life and this form of acceptance that he has from people, and he's happy and he's putting on his suit and he feels really like accepted and handsome, and it's beautiful to see, and he builds absolutely intricate, incredible models with matchsticks, and you're just loving watching him find his place in the world, and then the end happens. I'm going to spoil it. If you don't want to know, fast forward a little bit, but if you're a movie fan, you've seen The Elephant Man. If you haven't, watch it. He has never been able to lie down to go to sleep because of his deformity, his head. He will stop breathing in the night, and at the end of this movie he lays down his pillow. He puts his head on his pillow and he goes to sleep, laying down like a normal person, which is what he's always wanted to do, knowing that he won't wake up. He's just made that decision, and it's harrowing. It's so sad. It's such a beautiful movie, but it's a hard one to watch. There's certain movies I find difficult to put on, and that's one. I love it, but I find it I apologise if I'm eye-watering through this, but these movies really, really do get to me, I have to admit. So number 9, The Elephant Man. Number 8 is Dead Poets Society. I am a massive Robin Williams fan. I think he was just something else. He was not of this world. He was an incredible man, a fantastic actor, a absolutely amazing straight actor, which he didn't get much of a chance to do because people wanted to see that same kind of Good Morning Vietnam character, that Mork character. And in his later career he did do like 1 Hour Photo. He'd done movies that prove how good of an actor that he is, but just such a beautiful man, just such a depth of just character. There is a really good documentary about Robin Williams which goes into detail about an undiagnosed illness that he was actually suffering before he died that was affecting his brain and his reasoning capability, and that probably was the reason that he took his own life in the end. He wasn't diagnosed, but he couldn't handle and deal with the illness that was upon him, which is just, it's so sad. It's such a loss for this world for Robin Williams. But Dead Poets Society, just that real sense of camaraderie, respect. He's a teacher teaching at I think it was a boys' school, and we have that wonderful scene where they all stand up on their desks. I'm not going to go in, I'm deliberately not going into detail, just in case any younger people have not seen Dead Poets Society. Please check it out. It is fabulous. It is heartwarming. It will make you cry. Beautiful, beautiful movie with a beautiful man. Number 8. Number 7 is The Green Mile. I do not need to go into any detail with any of you, I'm sure. John Coffey. I didn't actually, when I watched this, and you're going to think, are you stupid, Lisa? I didn't get the biblical references to this at all. Perhaps because I'm not particularly religious, but we are kind of like, he is kind of like being compared in a way to Jesus. John Coffey is. I didn't get any of that, but he was just a lovely soul, such an innocent, gorgeous soul, and what he went through and what he was accused of in this movie is just heart-wrenching. It's really sad. Mr. Jingles, I often wonder, and if you've read the book, is the book better than the movie? Because there were aspects of the movie that I feel would have been better as a book, that I feel would have been really hard to get across, that, you know, than what you would have read in a book. I think the movie, maybe, I think the John Coffey character was just implicitly played, and the really horrible prison guard. But I kind of felt some other roles may have been lacking, but the John Coffey character was the one that just really got to me about that movie. So that's my number 7. My number 6, actually my number 5 and number 6 are 2 movies that I recommended to my dad to watch. He's a big film fan too, and he hates both of them, and I love both of them. He says they're both rubbish. Here we go. So number 6 is The Pursuit of Happiness with Will Smith. This is a true story about a man trying to make it in life, trying to get a job, make some money, look after his family. And the part in this that really gets to me as a parent is the part where he's in the subway bathroom. And it's a similar thing to the next movie I'm going to talk about. He is making this situation with his son into a game. He doesn't want his son to know that he has nowhere to go, he has nowhere to take him, and they end up spending the night in the in the subway bathroom, and his son's sleeping on his knee finally after playing a game, of make-believe and chasing one another, and the son's having a great time, but the dad is very much aware of how he has failed his son, and they're on this bathroom floor and his son's sleeping on his knee, and people are banging the door to try and get into the bathroom. And in that moment you can tell that it just occurred to him where he is and what he has to offer for his son, and he just weeps, and his son's asleep, so his son doesn't know, but he just breaks down and cries. And how you could watch that and not feel something, that scene to me was absolutely heartbreaking, and it had me flooded in tears. My dad said, "Oh, it's a lot of rubbish." I said, "What's wrong with you?" Next one, my dad thinks Life is Beautiful is a lot of rubbish. Roberto Benigni, winner of an Oscar for Best Movie, I think one of the first foreign films that actually won Best Film. This is perfection in a movie, but bloody hard to watch, very difficult. This is the story of a family. It's the time of German occupation, it's the time of Jews being sent to concentration camps, and the mother and father are separated. The father is sent with his son, And he makes the whole situation of being sent into these concentration camps a game with his son. And he's telling his son, you have to pretend this and you have to do this. And he thinks the whole thing is a big game. And the winner at the end is going to get, they're going to get to ride in a tank or something, is going to be the prize at the end. And if you know what happened at the end of the war, you'll know what happened. It's heartbreaking seeing what, obviously as with any movie with this subject matter, it's heartbreaking to watch, it's heartbreaking to see what these people were put through. I can't think of the words, understand how so many did what they did to these people. And you know, okay, they were under threat of death themselves, but how could you kill innocent children? And I just don't understand how so many could be so cruel. I don't get it. It's sad, but this like bright spark of light, this dad getting his son through this, and his son is none the wiser about what a horrible situation they're in. He manages to hide this from his son. And the end of this movie is very bittersweet. But it's a beautiful, beautiful film. I encourage you to watch it. Life is beautiful. That's my number 5. Number 4 is probably not going to be a popular choice. This is because, and it's the same with my number 1, I have a tendency to fall in love with a character. And I don't mean, oh, I want to be with that part. I mean, I just love everything about the character and I'm there with them, and it's like something's happened to someone I'm close to. So in this movie, A Star is Born, the remake with Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga. I'm a massive fan of Lady Gaga. I know a lot of people don't like her. I love her. I think she's a ballsy, just brilliant woman. I love her. Very talented. I think Bradley Cooper is extremely easy on the eyeball, I'm not going to lie, especially with long hair and a beard. I mean, and his singing voice is, I'm getting distracted. His singing voice was really good. He had to learn to play guitar for this and he had to get singing lessons. But how this ended, I hadn't seen the original. I'm not going to tell you. I didn't know how this ended and it was a total shock for me. And I had fallen so much in love with this character and their relationship with the two characters, and you were desperately hoping there was going to be a turnaround, because he is an alcoholic, he turns to drink, he makes a fool of himself, he goes from being the bee's knees and famous, and she's climbing, you know, he sort of introduces her to the public through his fame, and her star is rising and his is doing the exact opposite. And it ends very sadly. I was not expecting it and it just got me the whole way it was done. Lady Gaga in this film, she actually sings a song at the end of this for Bradley Cooper's character, but one of her best friends had just passed away, and Bradley Cooper directed this also, and she was offered time off set because, you know, one of her best friends had died, but they were almost wrapped, they had almost finished, and the consummate professional, she wanted to stay and she wanted to finish. So she put the emotion that she felt for her friend into that performance that is at the end of that movie, and it's just beautiful. It's so sad. So the movie in itself really touched me, but also that performance that she gave, which was properly really heartfelt. Your heart goes out to her when you watch it. But yeah, I saw it at the cinema. Absolutely adored it, start to finish. Thought it was an incredible film. One of the few that I bought, I have to admit. So A Star is Born is number 4. Number 3 is probably one that most of you haven't seen, and it's a movie I will never ever watch again, as with my number 2, same thing. This movie is beautiful, but I ugly cried at this one, as in audibly. Usually I get a lot of, like, you know, waterworks happening, but with this one I had the whole hog. This is called Spoiler Alert, and this stars Jim Parsons, who you may know as Sheldon from Big Bang Theory. This is a story, I don't think it's a spoiler to tell you, as I'm sure it's on the Gumph about it. He gets married and his partner is diagnosed with terminal cancer, and this is a story going backwards and forwards through their relationship, through the previous years that they've spent together, through what's happening now, and you know, the cancer diagnosis and them living together with that diagnosis, and through his husband's declining health. And within that they flash back to happier times. It's so beautiful, it's so sad. It killed me. It was so hard to watch, but it was such a good movie, such fantastic performances, and I would massively recommend for you, if you have a stronger constitution than me, check this one out, folks. It's brilliant. But I don't think I could ever watch it again. It's way too sad. So that's my number 3. My number 2 is very predictable, is Marley and Me. Never again will I watch that movie. I saw this in the cinema. The trailers showed Owen Wilson and Jennifer Aniston and a lovely little Labrador puppy gambling about. You hear those two names, you see the trailers and you think, oh, romantic comedy with a dog, fantastic. At the time, we had a very elderly black lab. Well, it was a crossbreed, but black lab, quite elderly. And if you've seen this movie, you know we follow the dog getting older, and shock horror, the dog dies in the movie, which is what it's. When I went to see this, and I think I'm not on my own here, a lot of people didn't expect it, and we get these really heartfelt moments of Owen Wilson talking to his pet before he's put to sleep. And there was a woman a few rows behind me audibly crying. I was sitting digging my nails into my palms to stop me. Well, her face was soaking, but to stop me audibly crying, I struggled in a big way. I had no idea, and I've spoken to other people that also had no idea, but it's one of those that's designed to make you cry, and you get the build-in music, and then when you think you've dealt with it and you think you've swallowed it down and right, that's it, they do it again. And it's a very manipulative movie. I've not got it where it is because it's brilliant, because it isn't. I've got it where it is because it killed me, because I wasn't expecting it. I had an elderly dog with similar issues, and the dog in this was elderly, and it was getting to the point that our dog would have to, shuffle off this mortal coil, so it flipping killed me. So Marley and Me is my number 2. I'm sorry, this is much longer than I meant it to be, folks. My number 1 is my favourite romantic movie of all time. If you know me, you will know it is called Amy Foster. It is known, I think, in the US as Swept from the Sea. This stars Rachel Weisz and Vincent Perez. I just love everything about it. I don't like rom-coms. I'm not a big romantic movie fan. Occasionally, something will really speak to me. Like I watched recently Where the Crawdads Sing, and that really connected with me, and I loved it. And it has a romantic, sort of part to the story, but that's not all there is. And similarly with this, Yanko gets shipwrecked off the coast of England. He's from Ukraine, I believe. I always thought it was Russia, but it's Ukraine. And he is shipwrecked, and he falls in love with the really weird gothic girl that is shunned, that's not understood, and she just treats him with real compassion that no one else is treating him with, because it's this weird foreigner that looks a bit odd, that can't speak English, and at that time people were treating him like some sort of monster, and she's the only one that doesn't. And it's a love story, they fall in love. It doesn't go where you think it's going to go at all. Ian McKellen's in it, Kathy Bates is in it, as if you needed any other reason to watch it. But this is one of the few romantic movies that just touched my cold dead heart, and made me cry buckets for every reason that you could cry, because you're so touched, because something's so nice, because he's so sweet, because you just can relate so much to their situation. So yeah, Amy Foster is my probably top movie that makes me cry. I'm pathetic, guys, what can I say? Yeah, so that's it. I won't waffle any longer. Feel free to do a similar video if you so wish. I can see you all rushing out there to talk about what makes you cry, to get in touch with your inner sap. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I shall be back later in the week with another. I'm going to record straight after this special effects that just impressed me massively. So yeah, I hope you enjoy that one also. Thank you for watching. Over and out from Lisa Lips.